Welcome to the Marxist Perspective. And on this longer perspective, we're going to read a little excerpt from an older paper I wrote, and I'm going to use it as a context to speak, kind of apply this to our times. And if you're not afraid, you should be. And what other side of the aisle or political spectrum you come in? It seems, you ever notice both sides, whether they be conservatives, and the Democrats will often like swoop right. You see that? Like they never turn far left. The Democrats always swoop right. And particularly hawkish Democrats, I notice. So, without further ado, Paranoia Strikes Deep in Washington by yours truly. In the film V for Vendetta, the hero V behind a Guy Fawkes mask tells us, people should not fear their government. Government should fear the people. This is basically a modern version of Thomas Jefferson's, when the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. In the context of a government afraid of its people, we are truly exceptional. For example, in 2010, the defense firm ATK recently announced the sale of 450 million rounds of .40 caliber hollow point ammunition to the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs Enforcement, ICE. This is a contract sale that promises the government over a 5-year period will buy no less than 450 million rounds. What for, you ask? They didn't say. But I think that's pretty clear now, where as we go further in history, we see what ICE is doing. So those 450 million rounds bought and promised to buy more. So that's how our government, whether it be a conservative or a liberal, they will feed the war machine. They will feed defense companies. So in recent days, it seems that the ruling parties of this country have embraced drone technologies. And that right there shows the datedness of this paper. This is why I always call Obama Obamer, because this was when we first had like the drone president. We called him the drone president in the anti-war movement, just because of what he did to Yemen and stuff. So foreign and domestic companies are lined up to buy and sell ballistic and non-ballistic drones for commercial and military use. Drones will not hesitate to shoot a civilian, nor will they weigh the cost of civilian and soldier-friendly fire casualties. And again, this is before AI was even a reality. For a drone, there is only the objective. Soldiers are invaluable because the brain and heart work in conjunction to weigh the objective and utilize their own experience to make right or wrong human decisions. U.S. drone strikes in Pakistan and in Yemen, non-enemy nations, have made world news lately. Drone warfare is dangerous to everyone. It takes the human end of the soldier out, which will result in more and more civilian casualties, a lack of critical thinking, and most importantly, machines have no obligation to tell their stories. Drones have no allegiance to a cause, nor a brain to discern the point of a cause. For example, militaries could side with people in the event of a populist uprising, whereas machines would have no concern for the people. The machine would, by design, only uphold the objective. I recently viewed some training targets distributed by agencies within the United States government via Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that have caused a huge public outcry. Depicted on the targets were American citizens. According to a Bloomberg profile, there are 7 targets available in the series: pregnant woman, older man 1, older man 2, older woman, young mother, young girl, and one called little brother. And if you look these up, they were like a family and stuff. And I'm sure they weren't using these targets to shoot like children and stuff, but they were used, I'm guessing, in some kind of training exercise. Now, this is part of a new no hesitation approach, which at this time, 2010, that no hesitation approach was kind of in its infancy. And being indoctrinated in national and local law enforcement agencies. I'm not saying that the government is arming to kill civilians. The targets tell me that the government has little faith in us as moral and conscious creatures. Now, as a Marxist with a long memory, I hope that people remember the violence metered out at the behest of corporations by the government to strikers and unions in the early 1900s, particularly Pinkerton Detective Agency. Now, 100 years later, in Wells Fargo is a big one to remember. Now, 100 years later, the same names and same companies that killed and imprisoned thousands then are in power yet. The corporate government has mechanical soldiers, if you will, history's largest standing military, and enough heavy ordnance to crush even a professional army, let alone a few civilians with semi-automatic rifles. Imagine satellite technology that in 1970 could read a newspaper over a man's shoulder from orbit. Any tri-corner hat-clad resistance group under a camouflage net would not know what hit them. Hey, Glenn Beck. This really dates me, I guess. Hey, Glenn Beck, you hear a helicopter? It sounds far away, Sean Hannity. Load your semi-automatic and tell Rush Limbaugh that he should kapow. The Predator missile blows up the camp from 3 miles away. That's reality, and that is terrifying. In all seriousness, if I could easily be a peace rally or a labor strike, what could happen if 1 million people marched on a paranoid Washington today, the No Kings protests? Would it be a bloodbath? Would a peaceful protest or a little civil disobedience be made into terrorism? We saw that happen. Donald Trump said, let's shoot them in the legs when people marched to the church, and he held the Bible upside down like this. So, ballistics drones over Detroit and LA, plus 450 million rounds of ammunition, targets that look like citizens with guns, exceptional fascism. Guns will not give people freedom. If guns ensured democracy, we would not be allowed to have them. The days of armed rebellion are now an impossible avenue. Even rebellions in third world countries are most often backed by a sympathetic military. If the people want their chains removed, this is what we do. We need only walk away from our jobs, the schools, the medical hospitals, our payments, our bills, and stand idly together in quiet, stoic resistance. This resistance is the only way. Imagine a working class went on vacation for 1 month. Just a little solidarity can go a long way. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. I want you to get up right now. Sit up. Go to your windows. Open them up and stick your head out and yell. I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change. It's Howard Beale, 1976, from the Film Network.